Welcome to the Spiritual Awakening Path. This is a space for you to slow down, listen within, and reconnect with your true self. Whether you're just starting this journey or have been walking it for a long time, right now, you are exactly where you're meant to be. Today, I want to sit down with you and talk about make money using your spiritual gifts, Jung's proven path. Vertical, align, inherit. There's something quietly profound I've witnessed over 2 decades of working with clients on their spiritual awakening journey. People feel your energy before they ever hear your words. I want you to imagine this for a moment. You walk into a room, no one says a thing, but there's someone there who just makes you feel at ease, like you can finally exhale. And then there's someone else who seems perfectly polite, even smiling, yet something makes you feel uneasy, like you need to pull back a bit. Have you ever felt that? That's not about words. That's energy. And that energy, it's woven from the simplest, subtlest threads. Your belief in yourself, your sense of worthiness to simply be, just as you are. And your honesty in living true to that self, not performing, not pretending to be fine. I've worked with many deeply kind, open-hearted people who shrink when it comes to being paid for their gifts. They worry they'll be seen as greedy. But here's the truth. When you doubt your own value, others will feel that. Not because they're judging you, but because energy doesn't lie. On the other hand, when you enter a space with calm presence, with quiet gratitude in your chest, with the sense that I'm here and I have nothing to prove, your presence becomes a gift. And real gifts? They don't need flashy marketing, they don't need to try hard, they just radiate and people are drawn in. Style, vertical, align, inherit. There was a time when I believed I had to keep learning more, collecting degrees, certifications, just to feel worthy of helping others. I used to ask myself, am I really good enough? Who am I to speak up? Who gave me permission? Have you ever felt that way? But over the years, after listening deeply, walking alongside hundreds of people on their healing and awakening journeys, I came to realize something simple, yet profoundly true. What truly touches the heart of another is not the knowledge you bring, it's the energy you hold in their presence. The world today isn't lacking information. We have more experts, more content, more answers than ever before. What the world is starving for is authenticity. Not everyone who speaks well earns your trust, but those who make you feel safe, at peace, free to be yourself, you remember them for life. You don't need to be a guru to make a difference. What you need is the courage to take off the mask, to soften your defenses, and to show up as you truly are. And maybe you don't see it yet, but the real you, with all your scars, your lessons, your quiet kindness, is the very gift the world is aching for. And when you live in that truth, you don't just heal yourself, you quietly open the door for others to do the same. Style, vertical, align, inherit. I want you to imagine this. Someone is walking through the desert holding a nearly empty water bottle, just a few drops left. Then they come across another person, parched, lips cracked from thirst. And now they face a choice. Give the last drops to the other person or save it, just enough to make it through another day. I've been that person, giving more than I had to give, thinking that was love, thinking that was noble sacrifice. But you know what happened? I burned out. I became irritable, disconnected from myself, and then I came to a deep realization. You can't fill another's cup when yours is running dry. A candle that's already burned out cannot light another. So many of us, those on the path of service, healing, helping, carry an old belief that taking care of ourselves is selfish, that accepting money is greedy, that real love should cost you everything. But I believe it's time to shift that story. Self-care is not selfish. It's your responsibility. You need nourishment, both financial and spiritual, to stay clear, compassionate, and present for others long term. When you live from fullness, you give from love, not obligation. When you feel safe, you create a safe space for others to heal. When you are well cared for, your energy becomes whole, grounded, and lasting. So please remember this. Taking care of yourself is the first kind act you can offer the world. Vertical, align, inherit. I want you to think back to your childhood, before the degrees, before the titles, Before the certifications and the training, you already knew what made your heart come alive. Were you the one who loved listening to others, or the child who created entire worlds from imagination? Did you naturally lead, or constantly challenge the rules? That, right there, was your first glimpse of your soul archetype, what Carl Jung called the inner blueprint of who you came here to be. Not everyone is meant to be a licensed therapist or a certified coach, but everyone has an archetype within, longing to be fully expressed. Some are born healers. Their gentle presence alone brings ease to those around them. Some are rebels, here to break old systems and call forth truth. Some are guides, carrying deep wisdom and perspective, even without a single diploma hanging on the wall. But sadly, society teaches us to play a safe role, to get the paper, to wait for permission, to be approved before we act. But the world doesn't need more polished replicas. The world needs you, living fully in your soul's original design. When you dare to embody who you truly are, no pretending, no performing, you naturally become a light for others. No need to label yourself expert, no need for official certificates. Just returning to your true essence is already enough. In style, vertical, align, inherit. Have you noticed this? We're living in a time where everything is just one click away. Want to meditate? There are thousands of guided videos. Want to heal? There are countless podcasts, books, online courses. But there's one thing Google and AI will never be able to give you, the feeling of being truly understood. It's when someone looks into your eyes and you know they've been where you are. They don't just tell you how to fix it. They understand why you hurt, why you feel lost, why you've questioned if you're enough. I once met a woman, no degrees in psychology, no formal training, but she had lived through loss, healing, and rebirth. And when she sat with you, not saying much, just listening with her whole heart, you couldn't help but cry. Not because she taught you something new, but because she helped you remember something you'd forgotten. That is the power of transformation. Information skims the surface, but transformation reaches the soul. It stirs something deep inside you. People aren't paying just to learn more. They're paying to feel something shift within them. And if you hold the ability to offer that experience, you carry a value far beyond certificates or textbooks. The style, vertical, align. I want you to reflect on this. If there were a university of the soul, then every wound you've ever experienced would be a course. Every time you've lost something, a loved one, a dream, a part of yourself, you didn't just lose, you grew. Carl Jung called this the process of individuation, the journey of returning to your true self. Not the self society wants. Not the role you perform to keep others happy, but the raw, grounded self, forged through pain and love, through getting lost and finding your way again. I once worked with a man who had never taken a single class in therapy, but he had lost a child. He had survived a war. He had rebuilt his life from nothing at age 50. And when he sat with someone in pain, he didn't teach, he shared. No diplomas on the wall, but people trusted him because they could feel he had walked through fire and kept his heart intact. You see, your life story is your most profound certification. You don't need to prove it. You just need to live it honestly. And when you have the courage to share your story, without hiding, without shame, you become a light for someone else walking their own dark path. I want you to imagine this. A farmer spends an entire season tending the soil, nurturing each row, watering every seed, and when the harvest comes, he sells his crops to feed his family. Would you call him greedy? Of course not. So why is it when you offer something deeply heartfelt, a healing session, a spiritual gathering, or even just your loving presence, and you receive money in return, you feel guilty? I've met so many people with beautiful spiritual gifts, but they're afraid to receive. They worry others will say, "Oh, you're just selling God," or think what they're doing is somehow impure. But here's what I want you to know. That is a profound misunderstanding. Money, in its essence, is energy. And when that energy flows from giving to receiving and back to giving again, it becomes sacred. I believe God, the universe, Source, does not want you to be poor to prove your humility. They want you to be nourished so you can keep giving freely, generously, and sustainably. So if you're helping someone from the heart, if you're living in alignment with the gift you came here to share, then being paid is not only okay, it's holy. Welcome it, like a river welcomes the rain, so you can keep flowing further and further. Vertical align, inherit. Have you ever felt like you're waiting for someone to give you permission? Waiting for a certificate, a nod of approval, some official sign that says, now you're good enough to begin? I've been there. Years ago, when I first stepped onto the spiritual path, I always felt like I needed just one more training, one more certificate, one more important name to vouch for me. I thought only then would I have the right to help others. But then, my soul whispered something very different. It said, you are already enough. You are the living proof of your own journey. You don't need permission to be real. We grew up in a world that teaches us, stand in line, wait your turn, get your credentials, follow the system. But the soul doesn't follow administration. It only asks, will you show up? Will you dare to live as your truth? I've seen people with the most healing hearts, but because they didn't have a license, they stayed silent. Yet what the world truly needs is not another perfect expert, but a deeply honest human being. And that is who you are. When you step forward, no hiding, no shields, no waiting for approval, you become an invitation. You show others, they too can be who they really are. So remember, you don't need anyone's permission, you only need your own. In style, vertical, align, inherit. I want you to imagine this. Inside each of us, there is a soul whispering, gently yet powerfully, about our true role in this world. Carl Jung called them archetypes, not job titles, not the profession printed on your business card, but the way you show up to life. Some are born to be healers. They don't need to do much. Just by being present, others feel at peace. They listen with their hearts. They hold your hand without needing to say a word. A coach, a therapist, a meditation guide, those are just outer forms. Some are rebels, creative nonconformists. They won't settle for what's always been. They break what's outdated to make space for what's true. I've seen them in founders, in activists, in those brave enough to speak up while the rest stay silent. Guides are different. They don't claim to have all the answers, but they offer new perspectives. When you're near them, things feel clearer, meaningful, illuminated with direction. Lovers live through connection. They see beauty in others. They soften, they open, they heal through love. Emotion is their sacred channel. Creators carry the heartbeat of art. They tell stories through colors, sounds, movement. The world becomes more beautiful because they dare to bring their inner world into the light. And then there are the alchemists. They bridge the visible and the invisible. A single word, a ritual, even just their gaze can awaken something within you, something you thought you'd forgotten. Maybe you clearly see yourself in one archetype, or maybe you're a beautiful blend of many. What matters is not putting a label on yourself, but recognizing what is alive within you. Because when you fully embody that archetype, value and abundance naturally follow, not through force, but through a deep resonance with those who are waiting for exactly your frequency. So do you know who you are? Or at the very least, have you started to listen to the call? I want you to remember a time when you met someone, and within just a few minutes, you felt seen, heard, understood. Maybe they didn't have impressive credentials, but somehow they made you feel safe. Have you ever felt that? That is what people are truly searching for. Not someone who's the best in the world, but someone who is fully present. I've worked with many clients over the years, and what brings them back isn't how many trainings I've completed or how many certificates I have framed. It's the knowing that with me, they can be themselves without judgment. It's the sincerity. It's the space to breathe, to let their guard down. These things you can't learn from books. You can only become it. And because of that, they're willing to pay. Not because you're selling knowledge, but because you offer a deeply emotional experience. Think about this. A doctor can prescribe medicine, but a true healer is someone who can sit with you in your pain. The world is aching for that. In an era full of noise, where everyone is trying to appear a certain way, authentic presence becomes priceless. Don't underestimate the power of the feeling you offer. because sometimes your warmth is the only thing another person needs in that moment. I want you to whisper this sentence, slowly, from your heart. I am willing to be paid to be fully myself. Not to please anyone, not to outshine anyone, but simply to live in alignment with the sacred design your soul brought into this world. I know, saying this might feel strange. Maybe you were taught that you must sacrifice, that you must be humble, that you must work tirelessly to be worthy. But you know what? You don't need to become someone to have value. Your worth is not in your fame, it's in your authenticity, in how you show up, open-hearted, undefended, in your willingness to walk through life without a mask. I once witnessed a friend, an artist, self-taught, no formal training, who simply painted, puts vertical align inherit in the corner of her room and shared a few pieces online. She wasn't trying to promote herself, but the honest, earthy energy in her work touched thousands of hearts. And then the orders came. The exhibition invitations arrived. That's what happens when you dare to show up as yourself. No more, no less, just the version you were born to be. Remember, you don't have to convince the world. You just need to believe in yourself first, and then the universe will respond. Vertical alignment. I know you might not like words like marketing. It might feel foreign, heavy, even at odds with the stillness of your spiritual path. And I understand. I used to feel the same way. But then I realized spiritual beings don't need gimmicks. They only need one thing, clarity. Clarity about who you are. Clarity about whom you are here to serve. Clarity about the gift you are meant to offer the world. When you truly live in that clarity, you don't need to force anything. You become a natural light, and those who need you will find you. No shouting, no chasing, just a quiet unfolding right on time. I want you to picture this. You're sitting under an old tree, holding a book. You're not calling anyone over, but the birds come. Tired travelers stop and rest because there is shade, there is peace, there is something real. That is you when you stand in your true role. No need to sell yourself. No need to broadcast loudly. You simply need to know deeply and trust fully why you are here. And if you're hearing these words, maybe you're ready to step into the world, not with a mask, but with your full soul. Ready to be received, supported, and abundantly compensated for the gift only you can give. So begin. And remember, the world doesn't need a perfect you. The world needs a real you. If what I shared today resonated with you, stay with us. Hit subscribe so we can continue walking this awakening journey, step by step, breath by breath, but no longer alone. And if you know someone who's also on the path of returning to themselves, share this video with them. It might be the soul gift you offer today. I believe we don't meet by accident. Every encounter, even through a screen, carries a sacred reason. So before you go, leave me a note in the comments. I truly want to hear your story. Where are you on this path? What are you facing within your heart? I read every word, and I will be here, fully present with you in this space. See you in the next statical align, vertical align inherit video, where we'll continue to remember who we truly are and live it fully.